Oh man, I got peanut butter on my penis.
Did you mean that? Was that something you meant to do? If you did, I love it. It's fabulous. What up, everybody? Nick's very silent over here. Look at this silent man.
What's up? How's everybody doing? It is, what day is it, Justin? Is it Wednesday?
Wednesday, yes.
It's Wednesday. Wednesday.
Yeah.
We're here.
Pink.
Yeah, I'm wearing pink.
Me too.
We're both colorblind. Guys, hello. We weren't here last week. My mom was in town until last Wednesday. So, I was like, let's do a pause.
Take a break.
Really quick, everybody in here. Hello, J-Dev, Isaiah, Night Fiend, DJ. What's up, brother? Creasefold, Andy, Rudy, Mark, Sean. How the hell are we doing, everybody? Am I missing anyone yet? I'm trying to go back. Kevin, Antonis. Oh, Sean Sheridan with the $1 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Stu is Rudy.
Oh, Rudy. Okay. What's up, Rudy?
Oracle, what's going on? What's up, guys? We're going to talk, obviously, tonight about the 20th anniversary of Freddy versus Jason, which was yesterday. But we're also going to catch up with Justin because, guys, Justin, over the last few days, in a span of 2 days, he was just telling me, he went to the theater and saw 5 movies.
I did.
Justin,
I finally caught up with all my summer watches.
Tell everyone what you saw and what you thought of them.
Okay, so J-Dev, Jason, I just saw his comment. So we'll start with the first movie I saw, which was Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. And that was awesome. I still prefer Fallout slightly more.
Same.
But this is a strong second favorite of mine. And I really loved it. Very surprised with the humor. It had some really good humor. Tom Cruise was funny in it. Some great action sequences, an awesome car chase scene. Overall, loved it. Cast was great. It had its emotional moments. It had some awesome twists and turns. And I can't wait for part 2. I'm really looking forward to it. So go see it if you haven't seen it yet. I saw The Last Voyage of the Dementor. Hopefully I'm saying that right.
Dementor.
Which is a chapter in the Dracula story. And again, loved it. It is my second favorite horror movie of the year. Very impressed with it. Quite creepy, quite eerie. The second act's a little slow, but it picked back up, and I thought it was one of the best Dracula stories that we've had on the big screen. And then the last movie on Saturday, I saw Talk to Me. And I'm very skeptical when it comes to A24. Like, I'm 50-50. I don't always love A24, but man, I love this movie, and this one terrified me. And it is my favorite horror movie of the year so far. So that's some big things right there to say that. But love that. And then Sunday, I did a double feature by myself. What's up?
Thank you, Creechfold. Hope you're able to make it there, man. It was awesome. I went last year. Had a really, really good time.
Scarefest is amazing. Barbie I saw Sunday. It was the first movie I saw, and I loved it. So impressed with it. Cast was great. Had a lot of fun with it. It had its heart. Very... I don't even think I have too many complaints with it. I would probably say like maybe a little bit of the runtime. There was like a few little moments where it slow a little bit, but I loved it. And then the final movie I saw was The Haunted Mansion. And if you're a fan of the Halloween season, if you're a fan of the ride, like for me, this is definitely hands down way better than the Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion. And I highly recommend it. Please go see it. It's bombing right now. It's not doing well at all. And I want more people to go see that movie because it is such a fun Halloween themed based movie that I think people will be really impressed with. So.
What's up, Akeem? It's dude, everything is suffering because of Barbenheimer, except Talk to Me. Talk to Me because it's I guess it's because it's target. Horror always does that. Horror at a lot of times is a different fan base. And with good word of mouth, it'll have legs. So Talk to Me is doing really well. I'm happy to see that. I really, Rudy. I was looking at the B in Barbie. Rudy, enough. Bump it to a 5. You don't have a complaint with the damn movie. Okay. How many times have you come at me about bumping something up 0.5? So bump it the hell up to 0.5. Just do it. Just do it.
I honestly so if you guys have noticed my reviews on Instagram and if you're on my Facebook, I don't do ratings anymore. I'm like, do I want to do ratings? I think ratings are fine and I think they're great, but for me, sometimes I have a hard time with it. So I'm just going to straight up tell you guys my opinion on the movie and what I think of it. So
yeah, ratings can get a little, it gets a little tricky. Yeah. Cause you don't ever want to seem like you're being too harsh on a movie or you're overpraising a movie. So it's always like that. And usually you just walk out and you go, I freaking love that movie. That movie, or you're like, that movie was fine. Or you're like, I hate that movie. But so Justin caught up.
Yeah. Real quick, Rudy, 90-minute movies are fine, but I think there's some movies where you could not tell the whole story in 90 minutes. At Barbie, you could not tell the whole story, in my opinion. And I think the only moments that I think I would have trimmed down is some of the Will Ferrell stuff. Besides that, it was a great movie and I loved it. So
man, y'all, we do not have enough going on. Yeah, no, y'all with your 90-minute movie talk. Stop it.
You could not watch a Christopher Nolan movie in 90 minutes. Let me just break that down to you.
And I don't hear anybody complaining about how Oppenheimer's too long because it's amazing. But I'm just kidding. Anyway, I'm just giving you guys a hard time.
I kind of had to jump in there because I had to be like, Rudy, not every movie can be 90 minutes.
Jason, do you know how much 30 minutes is in an hour and 50-minute movie? That's a lot. I'm not arguing with you guys anymore. Okay. Shut up.
No more. I want to see it. I haven't seen that. The only one I haven't seen is Insidious 5, but
it's mid. Yeah, it's mid. But again, I wasn't over the moon about Talk to Me. So it's funny. It's really funny because earlier this year, there were people coming at me after Scream 6 came out, oh my God, you're so overly positive with all the new horror movies that come out, blah, blah, blah. And it's really? Really? Because the last few I was pretty mixed to negative on. So I don't know. Maybe I have a penchant for, I don't know. I mean, Scream 6 is exciting.
Well, I interrupted you again. I'm so bad with that. Okay, keep saying what you're saying.
You're good. You're good. I mean, I don't want to go off on a tangent too much because it's going to take away from what we want to talk about today. So, guys, today we're going to talk about the 20th anniversary of Freddy versus Jason. And I want you guys in the chat to tell me about your first experience with this movie. Some of you guys watching, did you have the honor and the privilege to go see this film in theaters? I was 10 years old, or I was going on. Oh yeah, I was 9, so I didn't have the chance to see it in theater. But I wish I would have. Now looking back on it, I was 8, going on 9. Anyway, whatever. But you guys, I mean, I know some of you guys probably did get to see it in its theatrical run. What was that like? Did you catch it for the first time? At Blockbuster? Did you watch it on, cable TV years later? What was your first experience with Freddy versus Jason like? But while you guys are telling us about your story, holy crap, Jason saw it 3 times on opening day. That is awesome. I love
that, dude.
Andy saw it in theaters. Nice. Akeem didn't like it. Saw it twice in theaters. All right, hell yeah, Akeem with the heat. Dave Vanderhoff saw it opening night. Hell yeah. Yes, that's right, Cody. Thank you. What's up, Cody? Dude who loves movies in here, making sure y'all remember to hit the like button. This movie had a really troubled production, as we all know. I mean, if you guys have watched Crystal Lake Memories or Never Sleep Again, or just pretty much any bonus feature pertaining to either franchise, you'll hear about the story, about how obviously it was a foregone conclusion for like well over a decade before it actually happened. So much so that they were teasing it and Jason Goes to Hell, trying to get people prepared for what was about to happen, but hadn't happened yet and wasn't actually imminently happening. And they just dragged it and dragged it and dragged it. So they finally could get a script that they liked, that they finally got a director that they felt like could handle the material in Ronnie Yu. And we'll get to that because we're going to break this movie down a little bit. But it was a really, really long process. Like really long process to get this movie going. And I can imagine, you know, I see a lot of you guys saying you saw it in theaters. So I know you're older than I am. I mean, I can imagine leading up to it, you guys were probably like, where the hell is this movie? They keep teasing this movie. Like, is this going to happen or not? Yeah. Then it happened. And it was a huge box office hit. Fans generally liked it, thought it was fun. And really it was just like, it was an event, man. Like it was, they pitted each other against each other in theaters on the big screen. Nobody thought that was ever going to happen. And that's really cool. So Justin, what was your experience like? When's the first time you saw Freddy versus Jason?
So I was 14 at the time. And the first, you know, I remember seeing the trailer when we saw Terminator
Rise of the Machines?
Yeah. Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. Look at that. By the way, that hit 20 years old. No one talked about it.
Yeah, there's a reason. There's a reason.
Oh, it's awesome. I don't care what people say.
It's fun. It's definitely fun.
Awesome. But no, I saw the trailer before Terminator 3, and then I didn't see Freddy versus Jason until DVD, and my mom had it at her house, and that's how I saw it the first time. But I remember prior to that, like when the movie was coming out, all these fan theories were coming out and people were talking about it. I remember I think it was in middle school, and we were talking about the movie. We were like, okay, so this is what's going to happen in the movie, and the plot is this and the plot is that. Like so many theories about the film. And then I remember, do you guys remember like, well, they still have a new pay-per-view. Like you can watch movies on pay-per-view and like rent the movie on TV. Yes. I remember being at home because I lived with my dad when I was around this time, and I could not watch a lot of scary movies. So like there was one day I was sitting down and I was going through the channel and pay-per-view came up and I saw they were playing Freddy versus Jason, and back then they would play like the first 10 minutes and then after that they would cut the movie off because they wanted you to pay for it. So I just remember watching the first 10 minutes and then they cut you off and I was like, no. And then I finally saw it at my mom's house and I loved it. I had so much fun with the movie, had a blast with it. And
I want to ask you something, Justin, because Andy just mentioned this. Yes, that was Monica Keena saying that, and then it didn't make the final cut for whatever reason. It should have made the final cut. Do you remember that trailer, Justin?
Yes, and I rewatched it maybe early this year. Freddy versus Jason, place your bets. I was like, where's this line? Mm-hmm. So when I met her at a convention, which she was a sweetheart.
That's her name, right? Monica Keena?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She signed my Crystal Lake Memories book, Freddy versus Jason, place your bets.
Gorgeous. She is gorgeous.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I saw my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie is part 2, Quentin.
Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Oh yeah. New Nightmare. So I first saw this because my buddy Tommy was a big Jason fan. Like Jason was his guy. Michael was my guy always. And his brother, Chris, I was best friends with both of them. I haven't seen him in a while, but if you guys are watching, hello, I miss y'all. Chris was a big Leatherface guy. And so the three of us, it's funny. You would think that Chris would be like Freddy, but nope. It was Leatherface, Jason, and Michael. That was the three of us. And he owned a lot of them on like DVD and stuff. And I remember I watched it for the first time with them. And I remember just being like, I was probably 04 or 05. It couldn't have been long after it came out. And I just remember being like, wowed by the fact that I was watching that. Like, I genuinely was like, even though I remember walking away from that movie not thinking it was like a great movie, all things considered, but being like, that was so cool that happened. Like, I can't believe this movie exists. Like, that's awesome. It was just wild for me that I had actually seen that happen. And then as the years went on, I really soured on the movie because obviously when you really get more invested in the older Friday movies and the older Nightmare movies, although I think they do Freddy justice here for the most part, and we'll get into that with his character at least, aside from not giving him like any fucking kills, which is BS. But it was Jason really that I really soured on the portrayal of Jason as the years went on. But I do remember watching it and just being like, this is crazy that this happened. And I think the thing that stuck out to me the most, Justin, was two things. It was the slug that I was like, this is so weird. And then the other thing was, man, the torpedoes. That thing stuck out to me. I just remember being like, that's so awesome. And the excess blood. Oh my God. Did they it's just like fountains everywhere. But I remember really enjoying the movie, and I've had a weird relationship with this movie. I mean, have you always loved it, Justin?
No, not at all. I mean, I thought that was going to be a question we're going to bring up, but I'm the same way. I've had a weird relationship with it because the first probably 5 years since it had been released, I loved it. And I had so much fun with it. I had a blast with it, had a good time. I love these horror movie icons coming face to face with each other. But then over, the years, I'd have these I wouldn't say hate relationships with the movie, but lukewarm relationships with the movie. And
very few movies Justin hates, guys. You really have to suck for him to hate you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm giving you guys my hate.
Yeah, there's some that he hates, but Justin tries to be forgiving. He really does.
Be forgiving. I try to look at things, try to find something positive in a lot of things, and there are some movies where I'm like, I cannot find anything positive in it. Freddy versus Jason. Not Freddy versus Jason. Freddy's dead. Sorry.
Like, what?
Sorry, Freddy's dead. Sorry.
Hey, there was a good moment in Freddy's dead. The map says we're fucked. That's a good moment.
That's fine. I guess we can take that. But no, Freddy versus Jason. Yeah, I've had kind of a love mixed relationship with this movie. I would say now I love it for what it is. Like, I could put this movie on and have a blast with it. I don't like some of the behind the scenes stuff that happened with the movie. We'll talk about Kane Hodder in a minute. It's really just freaking sad what happened with that. And then there's some dialogue, which you guys probably know some of the dialogue that I just can't stand. And it's amazing when you go back and you watch some of these documentaries, the writers, there's a certain line in the movie, which I won't quote it, but they were like, that was not in our script. They were like, that was all studio going.
Yeah.
That. And it's disappointing. And it's like crazy to look at. That was 20 years ago. And it's crazy to think that was only 20 years ago. And you can just throw that line out there. And anyway.
Yeah.
But I have this love mixed relationship with it. But I could say right now I do love it. How about you?
Yeah. So I like I said, the novelty was really cool. As I got older, I was like, wow, this Jason in this movie kind of sucks. And then like as the years went on, I was like, he doesn't suck. He's still a badass. He gets some really cool kills in this movie. I see everybody talking about the cornfield rave. Like, that's epic. It's awesome with how and I also love what's happening with the girl in the dream world too. I love the visuals there of like the locker room and everything. Like that whole sequence is like a really visually like interesting sequence. And but Ken Kersinger just wasn't it for me. It's like even if you don't go with Kane, which I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, I know why now, but like why they didn't. But like at the time, I would feel like you've got to go with Kane. I mean, Ken Kersinger, I don't think he's obviously an accomplished stuntman, but like, I don't know. I just didn't like, I didn't like the way his Jason moved. I just didn't like that. But the other thing about this movie was I've seen people say some things about the acting in this movie. I really don't think the acting is bad. I
It's
really
dialogue.
don't.
If you're gonna do anything, it's dialogue.
It's some dialogue, yeah, but like especially Monica Keena, like I think she was really good in the movie.
She's really good. Catherine Isabel's really good.
Yeah, she is. There was a lot about the movie, at least with the kids. Yeah, he's actually really good. I really liked him. It was just, and I thought it was a really unique idea because like, how do you get these two to face off and make a plot for this not seem so dumb? And it was like, okay, the kids in Springwood are forgetting about Freddy. So I need to resurrect this dude to kill people in Springwood, specifically on Elm Street, so they think it's me, so I get my power back. But then when Jason has this bloodlust that can never be satiated, Freddy has to go, all right, I got to fight you because you're never going to stop, and I just needed you to bring me back. That plot is super simplistic, makes sense in the world that we're in with these two movies. I thought it was a really, really, honestly, really good way to put them together.
I thought so too. I thought it was a really good way to put them together. Like that's better than some of these versus movies that we've had. So I'm not knocking on any of them. I'm just saying.
So Savoy says, a memory that stays with me. I played the soundtrack while I worked in a record store, and the other staff made me turn it off because it was too early. Hey, but isn't this one also like one of the best metal school like soundtracks? One of the
best. I love the song at the end of the movie, dude.
Oh, I get
excited every time when the credits pop up. The end.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that story, and thank you for that super chat. I really appreciate that, Savoy. That's awesome.
And I want to throw also something in here because during I mean, you all probably remember this. Like during the late 90s, early 2000s. Whenever you made a horror movie, you had to have like somebody from like a music group or a band or a singer in a movie. And I am a Kelly Rowland fan. I love Kelly Rowland.
But not in this movie.
Yeah. I'm kind of like in that, like, she's not really good in the movie, but like I love her as a performer. And I think she's great. And I just remember, like, this was that time period. Do you remember this? Where it was like every horror movie had to have like that singer in it or something.
LL, Busta Rhymes, yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, what was his name? Usher was in The Faculty. Like all these movies, like you had to have that. Like
you had Paris Hilton in House of Wax 2 years later.
Paris Hilton in House of Wax. Yeah. So it was like it was a really interesting time period to kind of look back on, and we were young then, and it's like that was only 20 years ago, but
it makes us feel old when I think about it. But a Blu-ray addict, it's
2 months. So
it's funny that you mentioned that because like I've always thought that too, but then I'm like, yeah, but in Jason Takes Manhattan, Crystal Lake just connects to the ocean somehow. Really? So like you know, it's like it is a totally valid point, and I can't remember who said it on one of the special features about this movie talking about that. They were like, well, I mean, in Friday the 13th, we've kind of fudged geography multiple times.
My gosh. Like,
yeah.
I mean, our beloved Halloween franchise, look at all of that, like where that's been going. And
hey, you tell me, geographically speaking, though, I don't think Halloween's ever really messed up. I really don't. I think that
it's never messed up like Haddonfield, but like storyline in general.
Well, yeah, but you know,
storyline, I get it,
yeah. But so okay, so and I see you guys talking about some of the stuff with Jason. Gabe, I see your comment. I'm actually about to start talking about that because I wanted to expand upon what I meant when I said that like the thing that made me sour on this movie was how they treated Jason, and specifically. Now, again, like guys, both things can be true. It can be true to say it's so cool that these two got on the big screen together and got to duke it out. That is awesome. It can also be true that although they did that, they did not do Jason Voorhees justice in a lot of ways. In some ways they did, in some ways they didn't. And Gabe's point, and I've seen other people talk about it too, and we're just going to talk about this right now, Justin. And I remember when I saw it, I was like, this is bullshit. Jason being afraid of water.
I know.
Like, it's dumb. Like it's really, really dumb. And like even Ronnie Yu will tell you like, whatever. Like it's dumb. And like, but at the same time, it leads me into one of my favorite moments in the scene in the movie, because I love when Freddy takes the claw and puts it through his temple really slow. That's like really painful watching that. And then you get this like inside Jason's mind, like subconscious vision shit that I think is really cool. Visually, I think that sequence is really cool. But yeah, the disrespect of Jason, Mark, you're absolutely right. They just completely are like, we don't really care about the lore, or we don't know about the lore. And then Blu-ray Addict says, it felt like a nightmare film featuring Jason, and that is absolutely right, which is another reason why it's bullshit that Freddy got what? One kill? One kill in the entire movie. I don't care if the director or the writer or whoever is even like, oh, well, I'm more partial to Freddy or Jason or whoever. You don't give one of them all of the kills. Right. Like you just don't do it. Like, don't do it. And it pisses me off every time I watch this movie, especially the stalking sequence in the locker room with Catherine Isabel's character, because it's so good. It's so effective. And Freddy, like, I imagine Robert was literally like, she's mine. Like, this is bullshit. I should have got to kill her, because he should have.
Yeah.
A nightmare film that didn't give Freddy front and center the stage. Like, it's just wild. Wild.
That's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, because it honestly, out of the scenes that creep me out in this movie, which is very rare, the Catherine Isabel nightmare scene is creepy. It's still creepy today. Like, the way it's lit, the way it looks.
Her boyfriend's such an asshole.
Her boyfriend's an asshole.
Trey.
Like, Trey. I thought Trey was good looking when I was younger.
Hey, bag.
Give me a bag of cigarettes. Give me a beer. But like, you know what? I've grown now, and I'm like, Trey was a dick. He was a dick. I want
he got a great
in
death,
my life.
Great death. Like,
great. I was gonna say the death scene is amazing. We were talking about like Jason kills in this movie. What's my favorite one? It is the bed scene. Like, that is an awesome kill in the movie. It's tied between that one and the cornfield scene where he just takes havoc on everybody and kills everybody. I love that scene. But yeah, you were talking, you're right about Jason. They just didn't do him right in this movie. And a couple things that I can think of. One, I am a huge Kane Hodder fan. I love him. And you could tell his Jason from a lot of the other Jasons. And prior to this Jason that we had in Freddy vs. Jason, we had Kane Hodder for 4 movies.
Yes.
And you could tell, like, especially as I'm getting older, rewatching these movies, you can tell who Kane Hodder is and who isn't Kane Hodder in this playing Jason. And I think I'm more upset with how they did him wrong behind the scenes of this movie. And if you watch From Hell and Back Again, his documentary, like, it'll bring tears to your eyes. I watched it, and he's even in the documentary like getting emotional about it because he loves the character and he was waiting for this moment forever. And when he got the call that they were going in a different direction, it was just very upsetting to see like him get really emotional during the documentary. I highly recommend it. And
I also want to say, I think that if Kane had been a part of this movie, there's certain things with Jason that he would not have let fly. Like, exactly. I genuinely believe that. Like, I believe he would have been on set with the whole being afraid of water sequence, and he would have been no.
That's stupid.
Yeah, that's stupid. I'm not doing that. And so it would have been, I think, in everybody's best interest to have Kane be a part of it, because I think it would have made the portrayal of Jason better in a lot of ways. So no hate to Ken Kersinger. He was doing a job. He was doing a
job. He's a good stunt man.
Yeah, but yeah, I absolutely agree, Jonathan. I like Justin and I were talking about. I think that the plot is surprisingly strong and makes sense in this world, like in the fictional world that we're living in these movies. I think it works really well. But another thing that at times has really made me not be big into, like, I enjoy this movie, but I've never been in love with this movie. And I think another reason is some of the kills. It's like so over the top. And maybe I get that's probably part of the fun. This is a versus movie after all. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But like when he cuts off the kid's head on his front porch and just like how fake that looks. But having said that, that sequence it starts really promising because it starts really promising because
what's up,
what's up, Christian? It's like the giant shadow Freddy, in the street, and I thought that was so cool.
I thought that was neat too.
It's really, really neat. And what is it? He knows he's almost there, like he's almost strong enough, and that's just really cool to me. Like but it's like this movie has this tendency to it starts a scene really strong, and then it just is like, okay, what the fuck? Like, there's like moments where you're like, oh, this is good. And then you're like, okay, that's dumb. Like,
yeah,
it's just a very frustrating movie. It's just at times. Overall, I think it's a good movie and I have fun with it. And I think that the fact that it exists is awesome.
Yes.
But do you agree that some of the kills, some of the effects, they're a little over the top?
Oh yeah. I mean, the
has that ever bothered you?
The only one that's ever really bothered me is the freaking Freddy caterpillar thing. Like, I was like,
oh God,
it's awful. It's so bad. And I'm like, you could not use some practical effects in that scene? Like, really? Like, I mean, it could have looked great. It would have been great if they would have used practical effects. But why they went the CGI route with that, I don't know. Then you got the scene. As a kid, I loved it, and the line is fun. But it's the scene where Kelly Rowland is looking at the magazine, and Freddy
got your nose,
and pops off, and it's CGI. It's like,
yes.
What on earth? Again, missed opportunity. You could have done something great. There's some practical effects there.
You know what scene I love in this movie, Justin, is when Monica Keena is dreaming in the police department and the little girl is up against the wall and her eyes are gouged out. I thought that was just so there's some nightmare shit they do so well in this movie. So well. Which is why Freddy should have gotten some more kills.
He needed more kills. Yeah, I'm so with you on that. When I was younger watching it, I never really noticed it. But as you get older, you watch it and you're like, that's not right. And they didn't give him many kills. You talk about the water thing with Jason. When I first saw it, I never really paid too much attention to it. Then I watched all the Friday 13th movies, and I'm like, why would they throw that in there? Some of his iconic moments in the franchise were in water. Why would you throw that in there? So,
yeah, I wanted to ask you, and I guess I asked the chat too. I want to hear what you guys think about all of this. What's up, Jonathan? So there's a moment in this movie, and I think that it was a nod directly to New Nightmare, and you probably know exactly what I'm talking about, but it's visually one of my favorite, if not my favorite moments in the entire movie, which is when he comes out of the water in the dream sequence and it's red.
Yes.
And you have the Demon Freddy.
Freddy.
And I think that I loved that look in New Nightmare. I love the look in here. I'd love a movie where his look is most of the time like that because I think it's awesome.
Yes, 100%. I love that look. I love that look in New Nightmare. It's my favorite Freddy look, and I love it in this. I like that. They you could tell a difference in this movie, Freddy from the real world Freddy, I guess you want to call it that. And then you have this nightmare scene where he is demon-like, and it's so awesome. I love it.
Hey, DJ's got a Demon Freddy shirt. Hell yeah. I need to get one of those. That shit is so sick. But I saw people talking about this character, and I want to ask you this, Justin. I want to ask the chat too. Where this question is for everyone. Weigh in right now on Linderman. Do you like Linderman? I'm just going to say I like Linderman, and I think they are way too mean to him for no reason.
Way too mean to him. Way too mean. I mean, Linderman reminds me of me in high school. I had to go through that crap, and it's horrible. Like, no one should ever have to go through harassment, being picked on, and bullied. And I hate what he goes through in this movie. And then I hate that he dies in the movie, but he saved the person that he cared about, and yet she treated him like crap in the beginning of the movie. So, yeah, I love Linderman. I stand by Linderman. Like, dude, you know, it's sad when he dies in this movie. It's probably the out of the deaths in this movie that get me a little emotional. That's the one that gets me.
Yeah, I liked him too. Everybody seems to like him. Everybody's like, yeah. Like Linderman. Good.
Somebody brought up Blu-ray Addict. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
you're good.
If you guys didn't know this, I knew this, and you probably have seen the documentary. Yeah, Jason Ritter was not the first actor. To the first choice. It was Brad Renfro, rest in peace. But Brad passed away due to drugs, and it's sad. It would have been really neat to see his performance, because Brad was a great actor. Jason is too, but Brad was a great actor.
All right, I got to give a big shout out, Mike Mack, with the $9.99 super chat. Thank you very much for that. And one. I laugh out loud every time at this line, but there's another moment that I'm going to talk about. Mike says, Mark was my favorite by far. How many times do I have to tell you, man? I don't do checkers. I'm an Uno guy.
Yes.
Like, so go get the fucking deck and we'll play.
That was another character I liked.
Mark is awesome, but it's not just that moment, Justin. It is also the moment where they're trying to get the key cards. So he just puts his ass up on the window and he's going like, I'm like, dude, this is awesome. He's hilarious.
Mark is another great character I love. And again, that's another character. It's sad when he dies. Like, the good guys, it's emotional in this because he likes him.
And you feel for him too because of his situation with his brother. Yeah, with his brother, and it's really sad. And it's I love the sequence. There's some moments where I feel like there's actual real levity here, and one of them is when he's a badass in it too, where he's like, I'm not going to tell, like, I'm not going to do what you want me to do. Freddy's like, well, then I'm just going to use you to send a message. But I love that even in the moment when he's faced with death, like sure death from Freddy, he's still like, no, because you're going to kill me anyway. Like, he's not stupid. You're going to kill me anyway. So now I've heard people complain over the years about how, well, when did Freddy become, magic where he could just make stuff catch on fire? And I've heard people say, well, it's in the dream world. Well, not really, though, because it was in the real world. He was on fire. I don't really care so much about that, but that's his only death. You know what I mean? Like, his only kill it's not even with the claw, the glove.
I know. And that's disappointing.
Where's but I guess you do. He slashes him across the face, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. But I have to it's one of the creepiest scenes in the movie. That's another creepy scene when he's killing Mark. But I mean, if people are complaining about that, like, oh, is he a magician now? Like, how is this happening? I'm like, go and watch the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Like, from the very first movie, Tina's death, like, she's being dragged up against the wall, and like, you're seeing her being ripped open. You're not seeing who's doing it, but you're seeing it. So it's like, go back and watch that series before you nitpick at something.
Oh, no, I don't agree with the take at all. But I
know you don't. But I'm just saying, like, in general audiences, like, go watch the franchise.
I've heard so many people say it, and I'm just like, does it really bother people that much? Like, I mean, if it does, like, I guess whatever, to each their own. But like, it never bothered me like that. Like, it, I don't know. And that's interesting too. Now we're going to talk about. I want to talk about the ending. And I want to talk about how. You obviously get the bombastic, insane showdown, which I think lives up to the hype mostly. I really do. I think that there's a lot of great stuff in there. But we've been asked if we think this was a good swan song for Robert. I mean, I guess, but this movie clearly was so set up for a sequel. Like, it was intentionally set up for a sequel. So it's almost like Blue Balls in a sense, where you're kind of like, okay, but they definitely teased that he was coming back and this wasn't over. Like, maybe Jason won the battle, but Freddy might win the war. And then it just didn't happen. And I don't know, if somebody can tell me in the comments, and maybe Justin, I mean, I would assume that the reason a sequel didn't happen is because that's right when the rights issues probably really started to crop up with the series. And it was just like, it was a hassle. I think New Line didn't want to have to retain both anymore. And so, because they were just really expensive.
They gave away, I think, Friday
to Paramount, right? Back to Paramount.
Yeah. And then that's when, and then years later, they got the rights, sort of the rights to do the remake. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What did you think of the ending? And when it ended, did you feel the same way I did? Like, okay, there's going to be a sequel.
I don't know if I felt like there was going to be a sequel because of Freddy's decapitation, but I mean, you could do anything with it.
But he winked. He winked and smiled.
He did wink. And I thought, but I think at the time when I watched it, the first time I saw it, I just thought it was badass. I was like, look, you really can't kill the guy. He's still alive. No one won. And I love the ending. I love that scene where you see Jason slowly come out of the water, and then you see Freddy's head, and you're like, oh, shit.
Yes, yes. DJ, I want to talk about that in a minute, but I'm just going to ask right now then. I want to ask the chat. I want to ask you, Justin.
Yeah.
Who won? Because this is honestly debatable. People debate this still to this day.
I'm going to say Freddy did. Because, and the reason why I say Freddy did, because he was alive at the end of that movie. Like, you think Jason's the winner, but Freddy's alive, dude. Like, he's a trickster. Like, he is a trickster. And yeah, I'm gonna say Freddy.
I'm gonna say Monica Keena, because if it wasn't for her, Freddy wouldn't have been decapitated. Now, but in all honesty, Jason is portrayed as the winner, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he's portrayed as the winner.
Yes, but I really do think that Monica Keena it's really, because right after Jason pierces his midsection with his own arm, he falls into the water. Are we sure that would have, quote unquote, killed Freddy? Probably not, because obviously even when he gets decapitated, he's still not dead. Yeah. But yeah, the movie does portray that Jason won. So I think that
I'm a little controversial. That's why I go like Freddy.
No, you're right. I mean, because you could make an argument for either one.
You could.
But honestly, at the end of the day, I really think that like the people won. Like the people won because they got to see it.
At the end, yeah.
But the audience won. But I think it was Monica. Like, I really do think it was her. But yes, I mean, we all know in brute force, hand-to-hand combat, Jason would whoop Freddy's ass. I'm sorry, Christian, but we know it.
He would.
But in the dream world, Freddy would whoop his ass, obviously, because he has everything at his disposal. So in the real world, it makes sense that Jason, I guess, outmaneuvered Freddy. He was stronger because it was his element, which is why you'd never really be able to have a fair fight with these two, because one of them has an advantage in one area, one of them has an advantage in the other. So it's like there's never going to be level playing field, which is why I'd love to see David Gordon Green's Michael Myers, James Jude Courtney versus Jason. I think now don't even make your jokes about Halloween Ends. Don't even make your jokes about Old Man Myers. I'm talking Halloween Kills Myers. I think I'm not saying he'd win, but I think he'd definitely put up a damn good fight against Jason.
I think he'd probably win. I think he would, because Michael's just a badass motherfucker.
Okay, but here's the thing, though.
Language.
So is Jason. Michael.
He is.
I don't know.
I guess it just depends on like what Michael you're looking at and what Jason you're looking at.
Yeah, that is
true. If you look at, and no disrespect to Ken who plays Jason in this, but if you look at him and you look at James Jude Courtney, especially Myers from Halloween Kills, like
James Jude.
Yeah.
And honestly, I really wouldn't be. I understand that a lot of people think versus movies, or I don't know, Akeem, because in Halloween Kills, they really make us believe that Michael isn't human either, and he doesn't really seem human for most of that movie. And then in Halloween Ends, they're like, just kidding, he's human, which I know a lot of people were pissed off about. But that version of Michael, I always thought that Rob Zombie's Halloween Michael could go toe to toe with Jason. I really did. Like,
yeah, Tyler Mane rocks, dude.
yeah, Tyler Mane is just a force. I still think Jason would probably win, guys. I'm not just being a Halloween fanboy. I do think Jason would probably win. But who would put up a better fight in the real world versus Jason? Freddy Krueger or James Jude Courtney's Michael Myers? It's easily James Jude Courtney's Michael Myers. He'd put up a better fight in the real world, not in a dream world, obviously. Yeah. So, I mean, I'd be cool with seeing that movie, but I don't know if I'd ever want to see a movie like that because I'd worry that Michael would lose. And I could, my heart couldn't.
Michael's our boy. He's our boy.
My heart couldn't handle that. So, I mean, Justin, now that you like reflect back on this movie,
yes,
and then it just really quickly, I'll talk about. Everybody is talking about. Obviously, there was the Freddy versus Jason versus Ash idea that was going to be a movie, and Bruce Campbell. The reason it didn't happen, a lot of people, like some people don't. It's muddy water, like what exactly happened. Bruce Campbell. They had a meeting with Bruce, and Bruce was like, "This is awesome. I'll kick both their asses." And New Line Cinema was like, "No, you won't. We're not going to do that." So then Bruce was basically like, "Then no, I don't want to do that." And also Sam Raimi wasn't really super keen on the idea. So it never ended up happening, but they did do a comic, and the comic's actually a really cool read. If you guys could if you guys ever get your hands on it, it's actually a really fun read. I read it and I enjoyed it. And then we obviously had the idea of Pinhead at the very end of this movie was supposed to be right at the end, basically being the chauffeur to hell for both of them.
Yeah.
But New Line at the last minute was basically like, yeah, we don't want to do all that. It's just too much. And they were right. They were definitely right. But I can't lie and say that I wouldn't have loved it. And then obviously, Justin, we were supposed to have. We were supposed to get Halloween. Halloween was supposed to be a crossover. We were going to get Pinhead versus Michael. And it was going to be called Halloween, which is a fucking awesome title.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Didn't happen. Maybe it's for the best because I don't really know how you'd make that work.
Yeah, I think Pinhead would win that one. I love Michael.
Yeah, that's not even a fair fight. I mean, he's got an army of demons. Like, Pinhead doesn't even have to touch you.
You just shoot those things out at you.
Yeah, they just rip you apart. I don't know how you would make that work, but I would have loved to see it. Like I think some of these movies over times it's almost like there's a novelty to them. Like as time goes on, there's a novelty. You kind of look back on them fondly just because they happened, even if it's not great. And I think Freddy versus Jason is one of those. But
I agree.
It's so cool that it happened, and it's like a moment in time. And it's an event. But now where you are today, Justin, where are you overall at with Freddy versus Jason?
I love it, but I have problems with it. Where I'd say when I first saw it, I loved it, and I didn't have problems with it. But I look at it now, and I'm like, okay, it's not necessary. I mean, it's a great movie in the way that it's fun, and it's iconic that we had these two characters in a movie together. But like, great movie. Like if you're looking at it, is it a great movie? Probably not. I don't know.
It's great. You're right. It's great at what it.
I love it for what it does.
It's great at what it needed to be. It's great at what it wanted to be. It delivered in what it promised you it was going to deliver.
Yes.
And I think in that sense, it was a success, and it was a bona fide box office hit. I mean, the thing made almost $200 million, and we're talking 20 years ago. Like that's $300 million now. So like, that's a big deal. No sequel it was wild to me. I mean, it was genuinely wild to me. And I don't know why they didn't. I mean, I know why, but I mean, I'm really bummed that it didn't happen because as somebody in the chat just said, I think the next movie would have made Freddy the winner. I really do. I think that, but I don't think New Line was ever going to truly pick a winner and a loser here.
No,
because they wanted to satisfy the fan base. But if it looked like Jason won in this one, I think if they made a sequel, they were going to make it look like Freddy won that one. So then you could almost say they were even. I think in versus movies, I do think you have to have a clear-cut winner for the versus, for it to work, for that shtick to work. And I do think that personally, like Godzilla versus Kong did that really well.
Yes.
And it was because it made Godzilla the victor. Now Kong ended up in the end of the day getting a win in his own right. He saved Godzilla's life from Mecha Godzilla, but Godzilla was very clearly the victor against Kong. And so I think you have to do that. But I mean, Justin, would you want to see, like, obviously now it's pretty far-fetched, but would you want a sequel? Like, would that be something that would, okay.
I'd be down with it because I love these two characters so much. And if we did this, obviously, I mean, everybody's saying, oh, Robert Englund's too old. I'm like, Robert Englund's probably still kick ass. Like, come on, people. I would want Robert and I would want Kane in the sequel because I think Kane deserves to play Jason at least one more time.
No love for Derek Mears?
I mean, I love Derek Mears. Don't get me wrong, but I want Kane, my boy, to be back.
It seems like a lot of people have really, really gravitated toward Derek Mears.
I love Derek Mears. I was to say, if we did a Michael versus Jason, my idea would be, especially during that time period, Tyler Mane and Derek Mears.
Yes.
Head. Like, that would be awesome. If we did that, I would be like, I love you, James, Jude Courtney, but Tyler Mane and Derek Mears.
Yes.
Head to
Brandon, hey, Brandon, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, I think that's why the movie does do a good job in the sense that Jason does win. You know, he does win. Oh, CJ Graham.
Graham was my second favorite Jason.
Yes. Yeah. CJ Graham is great. He's great.
He's great. Somebody had a question, and I'm trying to remember what it was, and I'm like, oh. I
like Richard Brooker. Really liked Brooker. Really.
I love Richard Brooker. I love Ted White.
Yes. Oh, Ted White.
Yeah. All right. There's so many great Jasons out there. So many great Jasons out there.
Yeah. Is it safe to say, can we say this? Is this a safe space for us to say that Ken Kersinger is probably the weakest?
Yeah. He's my least favorite. Yeah.
Okay. He's
my least favorite.
Yeah. I think that's fair to say, because when I think about everybody else that's portrayed Jason, even if the movie wasn't great, I don't think the portrayal was I'm not even saying that Ken was bad.
No, I mean, he did his job like that. He's a stunt guy.
Yeah. But I think that a character like this, and I think that's why I was really surprised with James Jude Courtney. I really was, because normally I think for some of these characters, you need to have some acting chops, not just be a stunt man. I think that's why I love Tyler Mane so much, because he's also an actor. I was worried about James Jude. I definitely was, because I was like,
James Jude Courtney's amazing.
He's the best. He's the best Michael Myers.
Best Michael Myers.
And I all respect to Nick Castle. All respect. But that torch has been handed, my friend.
Here's the question somebody had, and it was more like, do you guys love like Michael in Curse of Michael Myers, and do you think he would be able to take Jason? And yeah, I do. I think Curse of Michael Myers, Michael in that film is scary and brutal. And
but I feel like James Jude is more physically
Dick Warlock, by the way. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's a tough thing.
Akeem, hey, from the top rope. Akeem's like, hey, I'm not really a fan of Kane because his movie sucked to me, but part 7 was okay. Hey, I get it, man.
Jason Takes Manhattan, top 6 for me, buddy.
And I think Jason X is a blast.
Jason X has grown on me quite a bit. I love Jason X.
So 20 years, guy. I mean, we're not done. Don't worry. Stick around. We're still here. I'm just,
still rolling.
20 years. Justin, I want to let the chat know some things about these Versus movies that they might not have known. You know, this really started. It really started something.
Yeah. Okay.
You had Dimension talking about Halloween, obviously, as we told you guys. And then you had there was a script written for Candyman versus the Leprechaun. And I'm not even shitting you. A script was written, and Warwick Davis was up for doing it. Tony Todd was approached about it with the script and said, no fucking way. Never gonna happen. So they didn't do it. But does it not scare you guys to think that if Tony Todd had said, maybe, that we might have had a Candyman versus Leprechaun? How does that even work, Justin?
I don't even know how that would work. I really don't know how that one would work. I can see Chucky versus Leprechaun, but I really could not see Candyman versus Leprechaun.
I mean, Candyman is one of the deepest,
Yeah.
most. I just it plays on like just
It is.
existential like fear and it's so deep in its messaging and its symbolism. And then you've got the Leprechaun, which is like the most unserious horror series out there. And you were gonna put the two together.
Damn,
What?
What about Angela from Night of the Demons? Bring her into this shit. Like, have her in a battle.
Sam, I'm telling you, man. Amazing in the sense of, like I just said with Freddy versus Jason, it would be amazing that it happened. You're absolutely right. It would be amazing that it happened. I genuinely would be like, hey, kudos to you guys. I can't believe you made this movie. I think it would suck, but it would be amazing that it exists.
Jeepers Creepers versus Hellraiser. That's good. I kind of like that one.
Well, the reason I mentioned it, Justin, is because here we are in 2023, and I feel like versus movies aren't really, obviously, they're definitely not in vogue. I mean, Godzilla versus Kong was big, but they've kind of always gone at it.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were going to get a modern day versus movie, what would you want to see?
Oh. Modern day versus movie. Oh, I got to think about this. What would I want?
Charlie, I agree. Freaky Death Day, I do want that. I absolutely want that.
That's yeah. What would I want? Oh man. That's tough.
Really tough because you have to think about
all these characters that we've had.
And you have to think about how realistic it would be. You know what I mean? Like, how realistic could you make it?
I got one.
Hit me.
I'm going to take a little bit of Norrin, hopefully I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
A little bit. The Strangers versus Ghostface.
Okay. Okay.
I kind of like that idea.
Virtual Boy says Corey versus Megan. Are we talking Corey Cunningham, my guy? Akeem says Candyman versus Michael. If you leaned into the more original idea of Michael Myers, of him being almost an enigma, a force, I think you could make that work. I do. Yes, it was called an In Sinister, Charlie. And I believe Jason Blum has said that that's still not off the table. It's still something they want to do, quote, one day. In Sinister is what they called it.
I've always wanted that. That's perfect. I'm trying to think. I want Valak against somebody. I'm like, well, I don't want Annabelle because she can take that little thing down.
I got one.
Okay, go for it.
This is a little full moon dig here for any of you guys may or may not have really been familiar. Christian didn't know I had seen these movies. He asked me about it one day, and I was like, dude, I've seen these movies. He's like, oh, I had no idea. It's like, yeah, I just don't talk about it much. Not a lot of people do. Chucky versus Puppet Master.
Oh, that would be cool. That would be cool. I can imagine that one because you have all those puppets versus Chucky, and they do all these trickster things.
Yes. Chucky versus Puppet Master. I think that would really work.
I want a Pumpkinhead versus something. I want a Pumpkinhead.
I just want a modern Pumpkinhead movie.
That's what I want too.
Come on.
Yeah, but Pumpkinhead versus. I'm trying to think who would Valak go with because I like Valak from the.
Virtual Boy, I do not. I have tried to get some over the years. They've always been so damn expensive. I could afford some of them, but chose it's in my best interest to not buy them because I do not have an insane amount of dispensable income. Yeah. There's one in particular that I've always loved, I've always wanted, and it's the Halloween 4 Japanese Laserdisc. But the last time I saw it on eBay, it was like $200-something.
I have one Laserdisc of Halloween, and it's the UK John Carpenter's Halloween Laserdisc. Nice.
Yep. Yeah, I actually, now you got me thinking about Pumpkinhead. Did I ever tell you guys, I might have said it on Unita a while ago. That was my nickname as a kid.
Really? I didn't know that.
Because before I hit puberty, Justin, I was actually short, and my head was not proportionate to my body. So my mom called me Pumpkinhead. And then when I hit my growth spurt, it became proportionate because I became super long. But yeah, she called me Pumpkinhead because of that movie and because of my head. So Charlie says Valak versus Lipstick face. Ooh.
Oh, there we go. That's a good one. I like that one, Charlie.
Mary Lou.
Mary Lou versus Angela from My
Yeah.
Demons.
Okay.
There we go. Those two.
Okay. All right.
Hey, I was like, when I was a baby, people thought I looked like a bird. They were like, "You got a bird face."
The other from Hellfest versus the Collector. Okay.
Ooh, I like that one.
DJ.
That's a good one.
Pumpkinhead versus Buckethead. I hope we're talking about. Yeah, we're talking about the band, right? Yeah. Hell yeah. Ghostbusters versus Deadites, dude. That.
Nice.
What would they even do? Like what? Like I mean, the Ghostbusters. Like, how would you fight Deadites? Like
they would find ways.
Yeah. I'd watch it. I'd watch it
too.
Harry Warden versus Corey Cunningham.
Oh, I got one. Harry Warden versus Chrome Skull. Laid to Rest.
I still need.
Does anybody remember Laid to Rest? It kind of fell under the radar. Does anybody remember?
No, I'm very familiar with what you're talking about, but I have not seen it.
Oh, the second one, you don't need to watch the second one. The first one is awesome. I love the first movie. And especially during that time, when you go back and look at late 2000s, it's like you had Harry Warden and Chrome Skull, and those two would be perfect together. Go watch the first. I mean, if you want to watch the second one, you can, but watch the first one.
Leslie Vernon versus Victor Crowley.
I like Leslie Vernon. I wish he'd get a little bit more love.
Yeah,
as far as film-wise goes, he's kind of like Chrome Skull.
Yeah. There was a comment I wanted to bring up. Of course, it's gone by the wayside now. Let's see.
Thank you, Virtual Boy. We appreciate you.
Thank you. I have not, Quentin. I have not. My favorite Scooby-Doo, aside from Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed, which is obviously the best Scooby-Doo film ever. After that, it's Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island.
I love Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island.
Yeah, I think Jason versus Leatherface would be interesting, Akeem, because like, how long would that machete hold up against that chainsaw?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Isn't that funny too? Is like, I want to talk really quick with you guys, and Justin, I want your thoughts on this too. I think it's undeniable that they have brought a lot of these old long-running franchises back in really respectable ways, like Hellraiser, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and we're about to get Pet Sematary Bloodlines, which I'm really excited for, in less than 2 months now. And, I wasn't a huge fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I thought it was all right. I loved Hellraiser 2022. I thought that movie was awesome. And I'm just really bummed because it's like they put out a movie that's at least pretty good, like middle of the road in these franchises. And people go, you know what? It was all right, but it goes to streaming. So there's no way to see how successful it is. And so there's no appetite to make another movie. Yeah. And
I want to see more Hellraiser. That's a big one.
No, I'm not being sarcastic, JG. I actually really liked the remake. I actually really did. It doesn't hold a candle to the original. The original Pet Sematary is one of my favorite movies of all time.
I really enjoyed it.
No, I did too. That's what I'm saying. But it doesn't hold a candle to the original simply just because that movie messed me up. But I really enjoy that remake. So no, I'm actually looking forward to Bloodlines very much.
Yeah.
Gabe says $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. Says Leatherface and the Sawyers versus Pluto and his family. Now, okay. First of all, thank you for that super chat. But let me just say, Gabe, you just gave me an idea. The Sawyer family and Leatherface versus the Firefly family.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
I kind of like that.
I like that idea.
Pluto and his family. I mean, I dig it. What's up, Matt? How you doing? And
Matt,
thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
But yeah, so I mean, what do you think about that? Like, what is the point? What is the point in buying the rights to these movies and putting money into these movies? Yeah, I mean, Hellraiser's budget was like over $20 million. They put money into that movie just to dump it on streaming. Like,
it's sad. And it's so sad. because I love Hellraiser. That was one of my favorite films from last year,
Mhm.
and one of my favorite Hellraiser movies. And just dumped it on Hulu, and we're not going to get any more. And I love how it ends, and I wanted more of that universe. And Jamie Clayton, I believe,
Yeah.
she was amazing.
Well, there was just so much lore there. They really built
Yes.
up like there was just so much to explore in this
The way
world.
that movie ends too, yeah, like you said, the lore and everything. The way the movie ends, it just hints at more, and sadly, we won't get any more. Same with Leatherface. I mean, that franchise is everywhere. But I loved the last Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, and I would love to see more of that, but we won't get that.
I thought it was all right. I thought it was the best one since the beginning, honestly. That's not saying much for me just because I wasn't a big fan of Leatherface or 3D, but so I definitely thought this was a step up from those. But at the same time, at some point, like we as horror fans, like I'm not saying there's anything we can even do, but it's just absolute nonsense that we are having to be subject to this, that they're playing with the rights of these properties and just putting them on streaming, and then just we have to accept that nothing's going to happen.
And I don't want to be disrespectful to A24 because I do love a lot of their stuff, but see if I'm right here. Like, I could be in the wrong, but I feel like horror movies today try to be really heavy as far as like just serious subjects.
Absolutely.
And that's fine. And it's great every once in a while to get it. But I'm like, I personally miss the fun of the horror movie genre. I miss the Friday the 13th films. I miss, those Hellraiser movies. Like I just miss that time period growing up, like 90s, 2000s, like some of 2010s, the early 2010s. You had that fun with the horror movie genre. And I miss that. Like slasher movies today, like how many slasher films do you see go to theaters? Like it's rare. It's like I love that A24 did some of these slasher movies. It's great that they did them, and they're some of the best A24 movies. But like I just miss the fun. Like, does that make sense?
Well, Justin, that is precisely why I think a lot of people in the hardcore like horror community really have appreciated a movie like Halloween Kills from the first time it came out, because that is exactly what that movie is. Like Christian did a re-review of it on his channel the other day, and he said the same thing. He's like, this reminds me of those if this movie had come out in the 80s, everyone would love it. But for the past 10 years, studios and filmmakers have been trying to rewire us as film goers into going like, expect more from your horror. You shouldn't just get mindless nonsense. Expect more. So then when we got a throwback to those ultra slashers, there was a lot of people that were like, this is stupid. This is dumb.
We don't want this. Yeah.
But you would have loved it 40 years ago. I just think we're almost being reprogrammed in real time.
Well, it's like you look at Hellfest. I love Hellfest. I love it. It is one of my favorites from the 2010s. And it came out during that A24 serious, like dark horror movies that we had. And not many people like Hellfest. And I'm like, I love Hellfest. I absolutely love it. I love that it's fun. I love that it doesn't take itself too serious. Like it has a great time with, that movie. And I have a blast with it. That's why I love Strangers Pray at Night so much. It's a dark film. There's some serious crazy stuff that happens in the movie, but it's a fun slasher film when it comes to at the end of the day. It's just a fun slasher movie, and that's why I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, and let me just say, Matt, I did see that Steelbook box set. I'm obviously going to buy it because I'm a whore that can't contain myself.
I know. I saw that too. I was like,
but and then Blu-ray Addict, it did, but I don't think it did the mob mentality wrong. And before anybody says yes, it did. Listen, is the dialogue dumb? 100%. 100%. But is the portrayal of mob mentality wrong in Halloween Kills? No. People push to that point, being feeding into fear and continuing to making it worse, living in an echo chamber of people around them, gassing them up. I think that the actions of the mob were handled well. Was some of the dialogue stupid and some of their decisions? Absolutely. But I think at its core, the mob mentality was accurate to what would happen.
Agreed. No, I agree with that. That would happen. Like, is a dialogue, but yeah, it would happen.
And I used to make excuses, Justin, I'll be honest with you, saying that I think that people overrated the Evil Dies Tonight thing. No, I watched Kills like a week ago, and holy shit, it's in that movie a lot.
No, it's in the movie a lot. Like, that's a good portion of it.
Hey, thank you, Gabe. Thank you for being here. Thank you for chatting, and thank you for the super chat, man. I appreciate you. Have a great evening. But yeah, they really do say Evil Dies Tonight a shitload. Like
Mask Mayhem, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Evil did not die that night.
It did not.
No, it waited a couple more years, and then it got all ground up. But I don't know, man. I just think that I think you're right. I think that there's this weird like push right now of people. It's almost like we're being told as viewers that we should want more, we should expect more, we shouldn't accept less. And while I think that, deep movies with deep messaging, even in the horror, realm, absolutely have a purpose and should exist and should be made.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean we can't have both,
That's what I want. That's what it is for me. Like, I love the deep, dark horror movies. Don't get me wrong. I love that. Some of my favorite movies in general are those films. But I do miss the fun that we had. And the fun horror movies, in my opinion, it's like you have the A24 stuff and you have the deep, dark, serious stuff. Mm-hmm. Then you have like the slasher films, and those deep, dark, serious movies are looking down at the slasher movies going, we don't take you serious. I'm like, dude, those are some of the best horror movies that came out over the decades. Mm-hmm. And like some of the most iconic franchises, like know where you came from. It's like the slasher movies, know where they came from. You had Universal monster movies. I'm going too deep into this, but
no, you're fine. You're not wrong at all. Yes. And Jonathan, I want to say, he was busy filming Ghostbusters Afterlife. That's the excuse we were given, which is why he didn't come back. But yeah, you're right. It would have made no sense because they retconned 6. I would have loved to see it though, personally. But no, here, and JG said something earlier where he was like, well, they still do make movies like that. But here's the thing. They're underground, they're lower budget movies. And that's why it shocked the world to see a big budget movie. You followed Halloween 2018, which was critically praised and made a shitload of money. You followed that up with an ultra slasher throwback to the 80s. People were like, what? Like, that's awesome. I want to see these studios with these big marketing machines and these big budgets. I want to see them pour that kind of money into a property that so many people know, because it'll divide people. Absolutely. But as time goes on, I fucking promise you, 20 years from now, the movie in the David Gordon Green trilogy that will piss people off the least is Halloween Kills. I promise you that will be the case. Because they'll be like, well, at least that movie was mostly harmless. It was just like a slasher. Like, that will be the movie that goes down easiest with people 30 years from now. Always will be. So let's get back to that, please.
I look at all these slashers, though. And yeah, we do have slashers out there, but they're not looked up like a lot of these other horror movies that are coming out right now. Like, they're almost looked at as like the stepbrother of the horror movie genre. And it's sad because if we didn't have the slasher films, we would not have the A24 movies and all these other films today. So yeah, I'm rambling a little bit.
No, you're good. And Death Punch gives a $5 super chat. He says, honestly, Evil Dies Tonight doesn't bother me as much as every person had to say 40 years ago tonight.
I don't.
Absolutely. That is true, though. They overuse that shit, too. They're like, 40 years ago, 40 years ago. I'm like, how long ago? And by the way, thank you.
40 years ago, I was sitting on a stump waiting for Annie to pick me up and had a pumpkin in my hand.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to say, again, thank you for the super chat. And also, just like in Halloween 2018, the use of grandmother makes me want to pull my hair out. I cannot stand how she refers to her as grandmother. Like,
oh, your grandmother.
Oh, Christ Almighty! Thank
Grandma.
you.
I don't call my grandmother.
No.
I call her grandma.
Yeah, and Virtual Boy, thank you. I saw that. I wanted to get to it. I was going to answer. I promised that.
Yeah.
But YouTube going to H45. I'm not,
I'm
unfortunately.
not either.
It is.
I'm going to Scarefest.
It's not in the budget. But I will say this. I'm making this announcement to you guys. I have already talked about it. I've already begun to plan it, and I already know it's going to be a huge deal. So I will be going to 50. I know that for a fact. When I was talking to Sean about 45, Sean's really excited about 45, but he even told me a year ago, Sean Clark, when he was talking to me and Christian, he said 50 is going to be a big deal. Like,
I think I'm going to try to make it to 50 by far.
Yes, I think I'm going to go to, I will not think, I will be at 50. Having said that, my buddy Sammy is going, and he reached out to me and said, if there's anybody's autograph or anything you want, let me know. I'll get it for you. So thank you so much, Sammy. I'm going to send him some stuff to get signed for me. It won't be the same because I don't get to meet them, but it's incredible nonetheless. And he was like, I'll even try to get them to like record a video and send it to you. And I was like, dude, that would be so killer. I told him like Rowan Campbell. I absolutely need Rowan Campbell. I don't give a shit. Like, but thank you so much for that super chat.
Saturn Video. I love my Universal monsters. I love them. That's kind of how I kick off the beginning of October is the Universal monster movies. So I love them. And somebody said, who would you want to reboot a Universal monster movie? I don't know what director I'd want, but I want a Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Virtual Boy, are you in California?
You raised let's see. And Saturn Video. I think I said Virtual. Saturn Video talked about the Universal monsters. Yeah,
and Universal, I mean, God, at some point they need to just, if they're not going to put money and they're not marketing these movies. You know, Last Voyage of the Demeter and Renfield, they were just destined.
Universal is. I love Universal movies, but like they're not. You could tell that they're not too much invested or in love with that genre.
No. Movie Maniac. I have heard. So I know that right now. This isn't breaking news because it was online. People are like talking about it. Justin, I don't know if you know this, but there's rumors that there will be an announcement or two taking place at H45 having to do with the franchise. What I will tell you is I've heard 3 different things that are a possibility. I cannot say with any amount of certainty that any one of them are legit, guys. I can't, but I have heard 3 things. I have heard, as I've told you guys, Halloween 3 series, like a limited series for expanding on Halloween 3, whether that be before the movie or after the movie, I don't know, but I have heard that talked about a lot. Sean Clark also told Christian and I, he knows that is something that has been talked about. 2, and this was like a year ago, guys. So he told us that he had heard that, but he doesn't know if there's validity to it either. 2, I have heard about a TV series taking place in the 70s in Haddonfield.
I like that.
Before the night he came home. Ooh. So who would it follow? What would it be about? How would you even do that? I have no idea. I think that the idea is to play more on how the town is affected and making Haddonfield a character.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
Don't know how likely it is, but I've heard that as well. And then the other thing I've heard is a video game. I have heard that.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 things that I've heard. I don't know how much smoke there is to any of those potential fires. I don't know what would be the most likely or if any of them are going to happen. But I can tell you this. I got a message last week from somebody that I trust that said, hey, I've got a couple, I got a source that came to me says that they're going forward with the Halloween 4 Legacy sequel. They're ignoring 5 and 6. They're bringing back Daniel Harris. It's going to happen. And I said, I can tell you with 100% certainty that's not true. And he was like, well, like, how do you know? Are you sure? I went to Sean Clark directly. And I said, Sean, you told me like a year ago this would never happen. can you just reiterate, because he reps Danielle Harris, you guys might know, and he's friends with Malik. And he replied and said 1,000% zero chance it ever happens. So it's never going to happen, guys. I know a lot of us would want to see it. We'd be game to see it. It would be cool. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. There's reasons for that. Like I said in my video that I did a couple weeks ago when I talked about it, maybe one day I'll be able to expand upon those reasons. Right now, it's just not the place for it. But yeah, it's never going to happen. So, but yeah, we should be getting some news for Halloween in 2 months. Justin, where do you want to see it go? Out of the 3 things I mentioned.
I wasn't too keen on it the first time I heard the news or the idea, but I'd be pretty happy if they revisited Halloween 3. You don't have to do a movie, but a TV show would be really interesting. I really do like that 70s Halloween TV show. Like, I'd like to see where Haddonfield is, and I'd like to see Haddonfield, the town, be a character. So I think that's pretty cool. How about you?
Mark, I think I'm going to get it this weekend. I think. We'll see. I think. But if I get it, I'm going to get it very soon, and I will be playing it. Yeah, Christian and I think Christian wants to do an episode of us playing it soon. So
I don't play video games myself, but I'm happy.
But if a Halloween video game came out, Justin would get it.
I would buy that. So I would buy it.
And then for me, Halloween 3. It's always been
that's probably the best. Like, I think about that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's just so much lore there. There's so much there.
So much you could do with it. Yes.
Yes. And look, guys, they could make it a sequel series. Tom Atkins is still alive. You could make it that Dan Chalice never died. I mean, you could make it that maybe, and I know that it would mess with the ending of 3. So, because it would give you a definitive what happened. But you could make it to where they turned off that last commercial and Cochran's plan didn't work. But 40 years later, somebody's trying to pick it back up again. And guess who's still alive? Tom Atkins.
That's true. And I always said they could, especially when I told Tommy Lee Wallace at Halloween, 30 Years of Terror, I said, what do you think happened after Tom Atkins said, stop it, and the screen went black? And I went into this whole thing, and he was like, who are you? He's like, you need to write the next one. I was like, that's pretty cool.
That you got the seal of approval from the man himself. But guys, it sounds like Halloween's future in the very near future is looking to be on the small screen, which I think is okay. I would like to see
breather. It's a nice breather. And
also, Justin, let's be honest, that would be like 6 to 10 episodes. So we'd be talking like hours
of Halloween
instead of just 1.5 hour movie. Like, count me in. Absolutely count me in. But it's like, I will tell you guys, it ain't going to be on the small screen for long because
it's going to be back
anniversary. It's coming up, and they're going to do something for that 50th anniversary. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
That's when we get the Josh Hartnett legacy sequel.
Oh my goodness, Michelle Williams comes back.
Yes. Josh Hartnett, Michelle Williams, and the gang. They're all back. Chris Durand back as Michael Myers. This time they have a good mask. Lori, you could bring Jamie Lee back because you could say this is the other timeline.
She'd be like, guys, this is the last time I'm coming back. Be like, okay, Jamie.
Yep.
No, in all seriousness, though, happy 25th anniversary to Halloween H2O.
Yes.
25th.
Happy anniversary. Not one of my personal favorites, but a lot of it I love. And it's just like Freddy versus Jason. It's a movie that I'm very happy exists.
It's top 3 for me, baby.
I know. You love it. You love it. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it. We're going to sign off now. We will be back next Wednesday. We never know the topic until like the day of. And usually I just ask Justin or tell Justin. He's like, great, sounds good.
We're down with it.
That's probably what we'll do too, unless something big happens over the next week. But if not, that's what we'll be doing. Guys, leave a like on this video. If you haven't already, I would really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to Justin's channel, Ryan 1988. He's been dropping videos and he's got more coming.
And guys, I would just want to say Halloween is going to be big for me. Huge. So, I mean, I thought about bringing back Ryan 1988's Halloween 31st leading up to October stuff that I used to do and like put a video out every day, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see. We'll see. Well, I'll be there, Justin. I hope y'all will be there. We love you guys. We hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. It's hump day. We're almost there. We'll see you next Wednesday.